and
news, but
gutted by deep Doge budget cuts. Will it
it's
leave the
not about
public in
that.
danger with hurricane season now underway? I'm Dana Bash. Let's go behind the headlines and inside politics.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the Nutcase. You gotta see this, folks.
We do
There's the
start with
Nutcase.
terror
There
on
he
the
is.
streets of Boulder, Colorado.
Nutcase, dude.
1325 Grove Street, the courthouse. There's a male with a blowtorch setting people on
My
fire.
lord.
The Boulder police just released this mugshot of 45-year-old Mohamad Soliman. Officials say he used a makeshift flamethrower to attack a crowd gathering to support Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The FBI says the suspect shouted, quote, "Free Palestine," and told police, quote, "I did it to avenge my people." At least 8 were injured. According to a person at the event, that includes a Holocaust survivor.
Oh, no.
Here's how another witness
No,
described
no,
the
that's
scene.
bad. No.
The person who threw the Molotov cocktail had 2 more in his hand. And he was holding them and he was yelling and he was screaming at everybody. I think he was saying, "You're killing my people." As he was holding, and I was only trying to make sure people were getting away because I saw another bomb going off that was in his hand.
That's horrible.
And we're getting new reporting on the scope of this attack. Multiple law enforcement sources say police found 16 additional Molotov cocktails in the area where the suspect was spotted carrying a garden sprayer filled with gasoline. Investigators believe he stopped at gas stations in the area to fill the bottles and sprayer up before the attack. Officials also tell CNN the suspect appears to be in the country illegally. The work visa he was granted expired in March.
Yeah, but did he have a job?
Is retired FBI Special Agent Daniel Bruner. First of all, can we just start with this new reporting about the fact that there were 16 other
16
Molotov
Molotov cocktails.
and what he did on the way there by going to these gas stations and filling up everything he could with gasoline.
Thanks, Dana. This clearly shows that he had a premeditation. This clearly shows that he was planning this attack. This is not an inspiration, a spur of the moment.
Did he plan to go without a shirt on?
He knew where the event was likely to occur.
Boy, oh boy, what a
He
goofy
was
guy.
planning. He was going along, getting the bottles to hold the Molotov cocktails. That in itself is part of the conspiracy of preparing for the attack. Then getting the gasoline and then placing those in different locations. The investigators, the FBI, working with Colorado State law enforcement, are going to be looking at all of these.
I want to know if he was on drugs. He looked like he was on drugs.
His social media, who knew about this attack. So these are all the things that are going to clearly show that he had a premeditation to conduct this attack. Now, whether it rises to the level of a terrorist attack, that is yet to be determined. At this point, I think that the direction that it's going to be a civil rights violation. But if one of the victims who was severely burned and in critical condition, if they die, then it'll change it, and then he could get charged under U.S. Code 242, which is deprivation of civil rights under color of law, which will take a lot of a higher punishment. So there's a lot yet to be determined.
So we don't know all of the facts. We're just gathering them, and we've just reported, of course, to our viewers what we know so far. But on its face, it appears to be that he was a lone wolf with makeshift flamethrowers. If that is true, as a former FBI agent yourself, how does law enforcement protect people from, again, if he is a lone wolf, from lone wolves like him?
Without a doubt, the lone wolf attack is the most difficult to defend against because it's their own motivation. They're not receiving
drugs.
Instructions. They're not coordinating other individuals as part of a group. They're just motivated to conduct the attack for their ideology. It's the same as the attack in Washington, D.C. The individual just took it upon themselves to conduct the attack. This is the scariest possibility. This is the scariest scenario because they don't provide tips to the law enforcement. There isn't someone else in the group that could alert law enforcement. So it's very difficult. The best way that the FBI is able to help the community is what we've always been doing, is coordinating, reaching out to the community and instructing them, providing them training on how to prepare, how to better be ready for this. Have individuals at these type of protests, these gatherings, that their job is security, that their job is to look out from the group, whereas the group is together. So there are lots of different ways to reach out to the community, to coordinate with these local organizations, especially in the Jewish community, where these anti-Semitic attacks are on the increase,
Folks,
on the rise here in the United States.
I think they're missing the point. This guy was a nutcase. He was on drugs. He was by himself. I don't believe he had any families. Single dude. Couldn't get any. Just unhappy with his life and does this. And we need to talk about how the society is isolating people, because I think with the internet and the disconnection in society, there are increasing numbers of people who are disconnected from society. They have wild ideas about society, and they, one day the right, if you will, combination of variables come together and they go off. And that's what needs to be talked about here. But instead it gets distilled to, well, he's a lone wolf. Well, it's obviously he's a lone wolf. He's a fat guy with a pot belly. He looked awful. So, and didn't care how he was seen. He was out there without a shirt, looking like the nutcase he is. So that right there tells you all you need to know. There's something wrong with this dude. And yet they're talking about everything but that.
We're having some audio problems with him.
Yeah, whatever. So my point is that
please hold on 1 second.
I looked on Facebook here. I can't find anything up about him. I put his name in the search area, as you can see. Well, it says Nutcase Mohamad. I didn't mean to do it that way. Let me try that again, because I was trying to put his actual name in, and I think I grabbed the wrong combination of names. I grabbed Nutcase Mohamad, which is popular now. No, I'm sorry. His name is. There's a suspect identified, right? That was 17 hours ago, of course. And my question is, okay, let's we just go here and search people right there, right? What will we find? We have a guy who calls himself we have a lot of Mohamad Solimans. This fellow is a digital creator, and he is in Egypt. All right. There is another fellow here who's got, this could be a new profile, 175 people he's followed by. And only his friends can see what he posts. And you can see, you can't tell who his friends are or nothing. I don't know who that is. There are a lot of Mohamad Solimans. So we have to drill down to the people that are over here, because you have so many who are listed in Egypt, for example. Or did he come over here especially? That's the other question. So it's going to take some doing to find out who he is, because in order to be here, have a work visa, you have to have an American location, and he, one would think, would have some sort of social media placement. Maybe this is him. Who knows? It's going to take a little more digging to find out, or unless maybe our friends at Heavy have discovered it. They're pretty good at that. And this is, let's see here. Don't know who this is. It's got a weird profile. Well, that's not him. So it's going to take a bit of doing to figure out which guy this is. There are a bunch of posts about him, clearly. But look at this. He comes out, pot belly, making these Molotov cocktails. He's older here. See, he's gray-haired there. This is a younger man, all right? And don't know where they got the picture from. It's not a mug shot. And it says suspect identified there. And he says we need mass deportations. See, again, missing the point. This guy could have been anybody. And we've seen this. They call them lone wolves, and they don't ask why, unless, of course, you know, he's a young white guy, and they start talking about, well, he's in isolation and all this. Same thing with this guy, okay? Somehow he got off the track socially in America, and he went off. What was it that made him snap? And we have to start talking about that. What triggered him? All right. And this is not open borders. This is the idiocy we have going on here. Well, this is a result of open borders policy. Missing the point that this could be anybody. Okay? Anybody. Anybody. And that's the point that I need to make in the next video, folks. Mohamad Soliman could be anybody. It has nothing to do with open borders or anything. It has everything to do with his mental health. Okay? Mental health. And this guy tried to burn 6 Jewish Americans alive, and did. And they say he's a migrant from Egypt. He entered in August of 2022. So what was he doing between August and now? What set him off? All right? Okay, what set him off? 2 years ago, so? But what set him off while he was here? That's how stupid this whole thing is. He does something stupid, these people have a stupid reaction. What triggered this guy? Okay, what triggered this guy? Okay? What triggered this fellow? That's my question. All right? And technically, Middle Easterns are considered white. So there you go. That's a demographic fact. Yeah, he's illegally in our country. So what? He's mad about something. As if it's okay if he's legal? That's stupid. Something set him off. Okay? Something set this guy off. What happened? That's the question we should be asking. Because he's a no-shirt nutcase. What made him a nutcase? What set off the no-shirt nutcase? All right, folks. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark ZennyReport.com. More soon.